It's the Conversion Scientist. We're teaching businesses how to turn more of the traffic that visits their site into leads and sales at the Conversion Scientist. www.conversionscientist.com. I'm Brian Massey, and in this presentation we look at Newsday.com, which could be the Titanic of online newspapers.
My name is Brian Massey. I am the Conversion Scientist. That's what I call myself. My job is showing businesses how to take the traffic that's coming to their site and turn it into leads and sales. And I focus a lot on developing personas, understanding who's coming, who our ideal customers are, and putting the strategies and best practices in place site-wide. We learn a lot from our biggest disasters. Plus, we just love to stare, don't we? We probably learned a lot from the Titanic about how to build steamliners. Well, I'm going to follow up on the great stuff we've learned from my esteemed co-panelists, and we're going to look at a little emerging disaster and see what we can learn from that. Online print. Mark Andreessen said, if you are a newspaper, burn the boats. It's going online, and you've got to figure that out. And a number of newspapers are moving online. Probably the standard right now is the Wall Street Journal, that has built a thriving online business for its content. A number of local and daily newspapers are also making the move, and we're going to look at one of those. This is Newsday.com. This paper is a Long Island-centered newspaper. Newsday, the print version is called New York Newsday, and they did a significant redesign on their site and put up a paywall in October of last year. The redesign cost $4 million. They invested big in online. They burned the boats. As of December, about 3 months, who wants to take a guess at how many visitors? Anybody want to guess?
26.
What would be a disaster? How many?
26.
26 would be a disaster. 5 would be a disaster. Wow, you guys are into this disaster thing. No, they actually did very well. They had 35 subscriptions, 35 paid subscriptions. And we won't even calculate the acquisition cost for that. So this was in the New York Observer. And so I read this and I was fascinated by this. Again, we're fascinated by disasters. So I thought I would go in there and see if there weren't some conversion things. And when I say conversion, I use a bit broader definition of conversion. It's not just about optimization, but it is about your strategies, the way you present your content. It can even be about your pricing. So let's look and see what happened from a traffic standpoint here. They were getting 2.2 million visits a month. After the redesign, it dropped to 1.5 million visits. And if you put your content behind a paywall, you do expect some sort of a drop-off. So let's take a look at what I think they did wrong. First of all, they did a fantastic job of hiding the important information. This is a marker for somebody who does not understand who is coming to their website or who their important customers are. Their headline, their call to action, Newsday.com is now available at no charge to Newsday and Optimum Online subscribers. Optimum Online is the cable company there. So we would assume most of the visitors know what it is. But who are they targeting here? They're targeting people that already get the paper that aren't going to sign up and subscribe. Where does the eye go on this page? So they've got this dark background with this huge white contrasting form. It's going to totally miss the text, and it's in that text buried here that we find out how much a subscription costs. Who's going to subscribe to a newspaper without knowing what it costs first? Well, they hide that from us. Let's look at a best practice, what we assume is a best practice. This is the sign-up page for the Wall Street Journal. Call this a landing page. Look at how they present the options. Not only do they tell us very clearly how much it costs, they help us decide. They tell us which one has 80%. They give us a star. It says best offer. You're probably okay here. And if any of you have read Dan Ariely's book, Predictably Irrational, you also see that they play a little trick here with the pricing. By having the $1.99 over there, price below $2, that becomes an outlier. And so it psychologically narrows the choice between these top two. And it's only 40 cents difference. So you'll have more people choosing the one that Wall Street Journal wants you to choose, which is the print and the online, as opposed to just the online edition. Now, if you were to remove that one and tested it, you would find most likely that more people choose print journal. So you can use pricing strategies like this, and it's great to test those. So it's a surprise, by the way, when you go on the site and you click on a video that you want to see, it pops this up. It is a surprise. Log in or register. Over here on the Wall Street Journal, there's a little key next to things. The little key tells us what we're going to pay for. We get the idea of the little key, right? Not only that, but we can very quickly see that there's some free value on here. So I might be very interested in Apple and Google and their turf. I might be interested in Tina Fey. I can click through on those and get those free. These are the sorts of things that keep people coming back even if they're not subscribers. And there is free material on Newsday.com. You just can't tell which it is. Too many options, too little guidance. I think I made this point pretty well, but these are the equivalent choices. When you go and see a page, these are the choices that you have. Already registered on Newsday.com, already a subscriber to Newsday or Optum Online, not a Newsday or Optum Online subscriber. You're kind of not a member of the club if you aren't, I guess. Similar page on the Wall Street Journal. Subscribe now. Plus you got your wonderful little key there, so you know that the key represents buying. Subscribe now. And it takes you to the page that we saw earlier. No good reason to buy. So just because somebody clicks on your content doesn't really tell you that they understand why they want the content. They might click on something to find out why they want the content. So if I clicked on a video here and I got this barrier pop up, it might be important for me to understand, oh, I've got to subscribe to get this. Tell me a little bit about why that might be. No. Once again, Newsday.com is now available at no charge to those people. I'm not one of them. I'm out of the club. You've just dissed me. So these are just a few of the things that I wanted to point out. The major point is that optimization is powerful. Underlying strategy can often be the death knell. And these guys were clearly marketing to the wrong people if they wanted to increase their online subscriptions. And they get it. So 35 subscribers, $4 million. They're doing something about it. One of the blogs, bobblitz.com, found this little tidbit where they're polling their readers to see how they should change the site to make it perform better. They're comparing, prefer you could look at this one, which is a light background, by the way, a white background with black text. That's the way we expect news to look. Or this one. But given all the things that we've just looked at, here's where they still are. And you make sure you don't make this mistake. Newsday is looking to enhance its website, and they think that the big magic answer is by updating its color scheme. They're going to spend another several $100,000 and it ain't going to change a thing. So I actually did a video, a real-time video, where I marked the page up and point out a few other things. Go to my blog and find that if you want a little bit more detail on this disaster. And I think that it comes down to not understanding their visitors, and I'm a big believer in visitor personas. They could have tested their way into the new design instead of just throwing everything out there, because right now they have a disaster and they don't know why. They don't even know if there's an iceberg. All they know is the ship is sinking. And finally, I think they would be very well served to attend PubCon. And I thank you for attending PubCon.
I hope you've learned something today that will help you improve conversion on your website. I'm Brian Massey. Thank you for listening. The conversation continues over at The Conversion Scientist, www.conversionscientist.com.